Yahawashi, Bahasham, Gadash, Tuwada, Yahawah, Tuwada, Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Shalaki, my Father, for my sins as I cry. Barakatah, Yahweh, for your mercy all the time. Call on Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Water, Yahweh, for the akim that you supply. Water, Yahweh, for the aqua that comply. Olo, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahawashi. Shalom, shalom. It's your brother Obadiah Yahweh Canaan, and I am blessed and thankful and graciously praised, worshiping, praying to Bahasham Yahawashi to forgive me of my daily transgressions of not correctly, and if I don't, which I know I have to convict myself first, because I know he convicts me twice at least, for not picking up on certain clues that I should in terms to moving forward to that next level. Because behold, Revelation chapter 22, and I'm going to start at verse 7. Behold, he says, I come quickly. Blessed is he that keepeth the sayings of the prophecy of this book. And I, John, saw these things and heard them. And when I had heard and seen, I fell down to worship before his feet, the feet of an angel, which showed me these things. Then saith he unto me, see thou do it not, for I am thy fellow servant, and of thy brethren the prophets, and of them which keep the sayings of this book. Worship Yahawah. Worship Yahawah. And the lead lesson for this evening is exactly this. Worship the Creator, Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi, and not the creation. This is of utmost importance. This is beyond what we can imagine in terms of anything that we should be thinking about. This is going to be a lesson that is going to be very beyond what I've been able to even think about doing before, because it's permeated throughout everything that is happening in this fallen system, this fallen state that we're in at this present time. And it's so covert in its way that it's almost right in front of our face and we can't even see it. And we all do it. Absolutely all of us do this. To the heart, I know we do this. And we swear up and down we're doing it right. Just want to get started. I want to give salutations to the brethren that are in the truth, the Akim, and those that are scattered around the world that are doing this work, because the Most High has decided to awake those that were predestined to do the work. I want to give definitely my admiration and all due respect and love to the brothers who have been diligently doing this work week in, week out, month in, month out, year in and year out, and apostles have been diligently doing this. They set the precedent given by Yahawashi Bahasham Yahawashi to bring forth this truth in a foundational way. We all can stick to the foundational levels of what we are learned in and have learned. So you got to give it up to the Most High. Give the Most High hand for those that he keeps foundationally in the truth of the word, which is most important, and we don't touch on those things. So the apostles of Great Millstone have been doing a good job in reference to staying foundationally true to the truths as accuracy as they can. So they get a big shalom and a up for that. Because they are diligent doing it. And then, of course, the like-minded brothers that are doing the work and the truth, and those of the elders and the as well as the bishops and those that follow suit. That's when we get those citations out. We're going to get started here. And again, you heard the lesson and what it stands for. My glasses here, and we're going to try to get in this. It might be a little long, so I'm just saying to you now, if you feel like you got something else better to do, which I can't imagine you can, go do that, because you're in the throes of the Most High using his enemy as a sword. So you better pray that he protects you from the sword, from the enemy, which is thy sword, which is his sword, because he's going to cut it loose pretty heavy during this idolatrous paganistic process that we're going through at this time during this particular part of the season. So you better get ready and you better get started on this in terms of understanding what he's going to do. I gave you the lead scripture. I'm going to pull a couple of more, but before I get to pulling all the precepts and the scriptures that the Father gave me for the lesson, I just want to just talk a little bit about what is the concept the Father's bringing to the Spirit, welling up in my spirit in reference to what we're supposed to be doing. We have all of us, myself and anyone else. I always call myself to the carpet before I claim that anybody else is doing anything. We all have a problem with what the Father gave me as spiritual priorities. Spiritual priorities are going to speak in terms of the worship, worshiping the Creator instead of worshiping his creation, in terms of how he's put us out to do this. And a lot of what we are prone to do is because we've been indoctrinated to do it based on how the Father has decided to lead predetermined individuals into certain areas that they are going to fulfill prophecy. You're not going to get out in front of prophecy and do something that you're not already predetermined to do. I know that this may sound funny to some people, but it's just absolutely the truth. The Father said he's already taken care of the beginning and the end. So since he's already done that, that leaves you no room to think that you're going to do something that is going to be outside of what he is directing or correcting or controlling. And we really have to get focused on foundationally who is in control. And we should be bringing it through, as I'm trying desperately to continue to do, is bring it through in terms of the teaching and the understanding. I said earlier in this, when we got started, that the obviousness is something that is beyond what that word means. And we're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about the fact that people use fringes. And when I say fringes, I know fringes seem to always reflect back to individuals that put something on the border of a garment with the band of blue and what have you, in terms of being the remembrance to keep the commandments. But you know what? Fringe has multiple meanings, and it's very manifold, just like the Father's word. His word is pregnant in the sense that it has manifold meanings for different periods of time in reference to how prophecy is applied. Let me say it again. The window of time that the Father is using with his hourglass at this particular time, when he uses his manifold teaching and lessons, he brings his manifold word of truth and prophecy. When it comes through, it has specific time frames that it brings what you have read before in the past up to the present and then towards the future, because this is what prophecy is. It's alive. It is a living organism that the Father has orchestrated that is moving forward through his power. So we have to not get confused about the fact that just because something is said in this context doesn't mean that the context cannot carry to a way of opening up your mind to a deeper meaning of something that is present. And that's what we have to start understanding. Like, okay, like for instance, when I was having conversation about this before, that if we talk about the curses and stuff, and a lot of times when you listen to the Akim and the brethren on the highways and byways, or even on teaching, they talk about you have to follow the commandments. We're still under the curses of the law. The curse of the law has been removed from those who have repented and been selected by the Most High Yahawashi through Yahawashi and Hamashiach's blood, that you are cleansed from that portion, and you have the Thawah, and you have that blessing, and you have that mark of exemption. But at the same time, you are still here in the flesh. And if you are selected to be here at this particular time, whatever side you're on, you got see. I don't know if this. I'm going to really try to reach you with the way Yahawashi reached me with this lesson about all of what he controls. Everything that his hand is on is under his total agenda and his complete control. It doesn't matter what you think or what I think or what we think we can do or can't do. It doesn't matter at all. He's controlling everything. So if you're here at this time, whether you are operating in the bugged out group, if you're in this, if you're in the soup of the bugged out group, that's where he puts you. This is what he pre-programmed you to be into during this period of time. During this period of time, there's a select group of individuals that are going to fulfill every category and area. 2/3, they're already been determined. The bugged out people that are involved in this, the ones who are in so-called in the truth and called but not really chosen and turned bugged out, they're in the category that they're going to perform. Those individuals that stay here and go through the process of tribulation and also into the end, they're selected. The elect, the very elect, just the 1/3, everybody has been already determined what's going to happen. And we as creation, we don't have no control over that. We do not. Don't listen, don't misinform your mind by not picking up on the clues that you think for some way or somehow you're delusionally enough thinking that you have some instance of being able to control what it is that you're going to do or not going to do. I know this is difficult for people because it puts you in a position where it almost kind of freezes you at not knowing what to do. Don't be in that state. You don't have to freeze up, stand still, become stagnated and say, I don't know what to teach. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to say because you're telling me that the Most High Yahawah is controlling all things. My mind is not my own mind. My way is not my own way. No, it's not. But see, you got to understand how he uses his creation. And I have to give you this part of the context first before we go into how people and how his creation worships creation. This is something that it's not too deep for you because it's very simple to see it. Very basic understandings and visual perspective on this where your mind can get a hold of it is look at the multitude, the dynamic, overwhelming multitude of religious, practicing, denominational organizations of all particular faiths that are out here. Look at that. I mean, just take a moment to marinate it. From every platform, from those that are under divisions of being in the Islamic and Muslim area of belief and faith, the doctrinal divisions of Christianity, and then you also have to include the attributes and belief systems of the atheistic people who don't believe in anything, because that's a form of belief if you don't believe anyway. So all these categories are already predetermined and being used by the Most High to direct exactly what's going to happen to everyone that's at this special time in prophecy. We are special in this time of prophecy because you're put here during this time. And when the door closes, when he closes the door through that period of Jacob's trouble, once the bottom is going to drop out of everything that gives you any sense at all or sensibility of stability, once that happens, where is your mindset at that point? What is the Most High directing you to pick up on and understand at that point? This is very, very important to understand because what we're not getting is that when we worship the Most High, anything we put before him, even when we do it inadvertently. What do I mean by inadvertently? I mean that we say that we love him. We say that he's all love to us. We say that he's all just for us. But what is it that we do in reference to what he's created? Let's start with the spirits of individuals that we know and meet and greet in our life as we're here in the flesh, from what we call what? A carnality scarcity. There's a carnality scarcity of individuals that we inadvertently put in front of the Most High because we're in awe of what he's done with them from a spiritual perspective. Did you hear what I'm saying? We get in awe of what the Father's done with a vessel, a human physical vessel in the flesh. And so from the carnality and the scarcity of individuals that he does present us with, that shows us some really fantastic things that we see that they've been able to try to accomplish or bring forth, including and not limited to the way the truth came out. Are we subject to worshiping the creation in individuals that have been benchmarked or have been, you could call them pioneers, you can call them, I guess, futuristic or present patriarchs in terms of bringing the truth out and who he used. We have to be very careful that we don't border into worshiping these individuals inadvertently because we think that it's okay to give them a specific amount of understanding and praise, but at the same time, we don't mention how they've been given and acquired that ability to do it, which should be first and foremost. If you ever give anything to anyone in reference to what you've gotten from Bahasham, Yahawashi as, let's say, some sort of accolade or some sort of homage that you're kind of praising them to, if you don't put the Father in front of it completely, in terms of his total sovereignty and his omnipotent, omnipotent, present power, then you're kind of walking a fine line into worshiping creation. And you got to be careful of this, because this is something that we all end up tend on doing, and we do it sometimes in a way where it's almost involuntarily done, and that's very scary in terms of what we don't understand. So this is why this part of the commentary has to come out to explain why the lesson is what it is, because it's very easy to see that anything you put in front of the Most High as work, as worship, because work and worship in the Hebrew is the same thing. The Avaton, right? I'm not real good at that, but I'm just trying to get it out. Anyway, when you worship the work, hear what I said. When you worship the work, are you worshiping the Most High, Yahawah, through the name of the Son, or are you worshiping the work that stops at those who are learning the work and learning it to you and teaching it to you? Which is it that you're doing here? See, this is one of the processes and the parts of religion that becomes worship. You can't worship religious practices. You cannot do this. You cannot take and say, my religion allows me to know the Most High. No, because he didn't give us religion. He gave you laws, statutes, and commandments. Now, let me attach this to these laws, statutes, and commandments that you're supposed to understand. We say people wear fringes, men of the Lord wear fringes. We wear fringes to remind us to keep the commandments. Now let's think about this for a second. When you use the word fringe, if someone says, I'm working on the fringes of my relationship, or I'm working on the fringes of this land, or I'm working on it's almost like the outskirts or the edge. The fringe lays on and is circumferencing the edge of something, like on your garment. They said the fringe goes on the garment, border to border, all the way around, but it's at the end. Now, if you have something that's a fringe, it's a portion of the whole that at the end of it, it seals something that was already supposed to be understood or received. I'll say it again. If you receive something, okay, let's say you're receiving the word, the truth, right? Then you have to understand what it is you received, and then you have to apply what it is that you received, understand, and then create the application. If you are not understanding, if you're not receiving it well or at all, and if you're not understanding it well or at all, then how can you apply it well or at all? How can you do it? You can't. So when Yahawashi tells me, when you teach something, make sure that you say, explain the receiving, explain how to receive it, explain the understanding, explain how to understand it, explain the application, explain how to apply it. This is what he was telling me to make sure I get corrected in doing when I bring any information out that he's given me to bring. If I don't do it in that manner, then I'm not doing it right. So that's what I'm trying to do the best that he allows me to do, knowing he's controlling all aspects of everything, and just trying to stay close to the clues so I don't get abused, and so you won't get abused. That's why we have to stay close, very close to the clues and what he's bringing out for us, and giving us that understanding. So this can be something that we have to look at, because if we don't, we're going to see separation, and you're going to see the separation of the elect, and you have to recognize why it's, because then you become distant to who? You become distant to those that cannot receive what you're giving them, because they don't clearly understand it, and it's not being given to them to understand yet. It may be a seed that's planted, and that seed may not germinate or take place until after they're away from your presence and wherever they are. That's not your part of the wheelhouse. That's above your pay grade. Once that information is passed, it's up. Whether the Most High wants to take care of that, the next level or not, that's on him. It's not on you. That's not part of your job. So you've done what you were supposed to do as far as the contact is concerned. You got that done. And then the salvation process is something that he will work out with them at whatever stage and level he decides, in period of time he decides to do that. We have to just make sure that our spirit is matching up with the spirit of prophecy. This is very important. And that's where creation worship has to be set aside. You can't get into religious practices that operate under creation worship. They worship the creation. You can see that it's happening. Look at all of the various, let's just talk about the tribes. The tribes have what they have been able to derive through the Most High leading them towards the direction they're going. And again, like I said, if they're involved in idolatry, like the tribe of Dan that got taken out of this picture because of that, big time, all of the tribes, every single one of the tribes right now are head deep, sick into idolatry. Just tell me I'm wrong. Where am I wrong in this? All of the tribes are sick deep in idolatry. They're sick deep in creation worship. They worship idols, just like the nations that the Father has directed to worship wood and stone and everything else. The tribes are definitely deep in it. They worship images of individuals that were created to represent the Son, Yahawashi, which JC is not the one. He never was. He's at creation. Why are you worshiping him? How are you worshiping him? Well, he's leading you in that direction. Because why? And I'll get to that in a minute, but let me go ahead and finish on the others. You have all of the other tribes that I was listening to one of my brothers do a lesson a little bit earlier. I think my brother Malcolm of Northern Kingdom, Reuben tribe, is myself. He was talking about how the tribe of Reuben, Gad, and Issacharites, and mainly Reuben, Gad, and North American so-called Indians, we were worshiping animals. Yes, we were worshiping, eagles and buffalo and wolves and bears and all this stuff. That's a creation. And we were worshiping it, thinking we were right because we were doing it based on saying we respect the creation that the Great Spirit made, but we didn't go straight to continue staying with just the Great Spirit. What we did was we started talking about how great the creation of the Great Spirit made in a bear or a lion or a buffalo or whatever, because of the carnality that we understood about that entity that was created. But we weren't clear enough on the clues of who made it and how he made it and how great he is that made it. This is what we keep losing focus on. And that's why a lot of what we do and a lot of lessons we teach and things we say, they fall short of true love, worship, praise, worship, and prayer for the Most High, because we are still pushing and touching what the Father calls as the unclean thing, which is worshiping creation. Worshiping creation is touching the unclean thing. When you worship deities that are made from the substances that the Father created, and when they make these fake idols, these statues, like these, you got a lot of the Ephraimite kingdom, the Northern Kingdom tribe heads and those underneath, they're into the Santa Maria, and they're into the various types of statues of Mary and different things. This is all creation worship again through religious practices. This is the levels of idolatry that we're in, and we're in it heavy. I mean, Esau and the Edomites are doing this stuff, but they've been pagan worshiping because they've been built to do that. But we were given the law, statutes, and commandments, and we're supposed to be picking up the clues to know not to go into creation worship. Okay? Now, don't jump on me and say, well, Yahawashi. No, Yahawashi, he was the firstborn of creation. And we're going to have scriptures for that. But what we're speaking about in terms of Yahawashi is he is truly what we would call the choices, the first thing the Father pulled from himself in order to create the levels of creation that will bring us to a perfection as close as we can get to being like our Savior, Yahawashi HaMashiach. So don't get it twisted and think that I'm saying that you can't offer some praise and worship through Yahawashi to the Father. In essence, he still gets that form of worship as well, as it proxies to the Most High Yahweh. I'm not trying to confuse you. I'm just saying to you, if you're worshiping anything that the Father created and putting it before him and not giving him the love and the utmost attribute of understanding, you're going to create a problem for yourself in picking up clues, and you're going to start seeing more abuse when things start coming down because you're not picking up clues, and that's what you're going to get. We got to get into the scriptures as we go, so let's get started. Shalaki, I know I had to take a little time to break that down because it's important for us to do that so that we know that we're doing what he said do. All right. I started out, of course, with Revelation 22:9, and I gave you that, but I started up a few verses before that because I needed to, just to clarify where we're going with everything. Okay. All right. So from here, I'm going to go to Romans. So go with me to Romans, and we're going to go to Romans chapter 1:25, right? And most people already know it. So so just read with me. First, we'll go to 24 because we have to have the context of why this is happening, okay? All right. Oh, boy, I tell you what, I'm just going to go ahead and start a little higher. I'm definitely going to do that because it's dealing with the unbelief and its consequences. And that unbelief is not understanding correctly what the Father wants us to, how he wants to be worshiped, okay? All right, start 18. I'm gonna start at 18 instead of 25. So stay with me. Sometimes that happens when I get into the book and scriptures, and he gave me 25. I look at what I'm seeing, and he says, "Okay, go ahead up." And Romans 1 and give me more. 18. For the wrath of Yahweh is revealed from heaven against all ungodliness and unrighteousness of men who hold the truth in unrighteousness. You can hold the truth in unrighteousness by touching the unclean thing, which is worshiping religion, worshiping the creation through religion. You're touching the unclean thing, right? Okay, so then we talk on that 19, because that which may be known of Yahweh is manifest in them, for Yahweh hath showed it unto them. For the invisible things of him from the creation of the world are clearly seen. So you can't walk past that. All right, for the invisible things of him, who's him? Yahweh. From the creation, who does it? Yahweh. Of the world are clearly seen, being understood by the things that are made, even his eternal power and Godhead, Yahweh's power and his Godhead, so that they are without excuse. He's trying to tell you that you got to pick up these clues on the fact that I created what I did in creation to you, the creation, to understand that you got to come to me and praise and worship me, not what I made. Okay? Okay, 21, because that when they knew Yahweh, they glorified him not as power or as Yahweh, neither were they thankful, but became vain in their imaginations, and their foolish heart was darkened. Literally, I could just stop right there and say, okay, good night, you got the message. Okay, but you know there's more, okay? Again, because 21, all right, because that when they knew Yahweh, they glorified him not as Yahweh. Why have they done this? Well, as he leads us to the paths of righteousness for his name's sake, he's giving you clues to pick up to know who he is based on the way he's created everything and controls everything. But because when they knew Yahweh, when they looked at how he created everything and they were in awe of it, they glorified him not as Yahweh. They were confused. Just like all of the religious practitioners in the world who worship who they call God through religion. They're all confused. They don't know him, because if they did, they wouldn't worship creations that he put in existence that they're using to try to replicate or supposedly resemble him. It's not working that way. You're amazed by the stars, the moon, how he strung out the heavens and all of the galaxies. You're completely amazed by that, but you don't amazed by the fact that who it is that did it is way higher and beyond what he created. Hello? Anybody home? Should I knock on the camera to find out? Okay, I'm just saying, all right? Okay, finishing 21. Because that when they knew Yahweh, they glorified him not as Yahweh. They don't love him enough. They don't show him the love. And they try to talk to him as though he's obvious. And then they fall victim to praising and worshiping creation. Neither were they thankful. How thankful are they? When you're thankful, you perform actions of that type of thankfulness. Right? But became vain in their imaginations. So how are they vain in their imaginations? Well, they're vain because you can't tell them anything. They're arrogant. See, there's no humility that shines forward. They're like, I know this, I got it all, I know it all. So therefore, because I know it all, I'm going to be vain just like I am in my imaginations, and nobody can tell me nothing. If you're not humble, you can't get this truth. There's no way you can mix the truth with non-humility, with arrogancy. The truth don't mix with arrogancy. It can't come through that way. And their foolish heart was darkened. Okay? 22, professing themselves to be wise, they became fools. And they changed the glory of the uncorruptible Yahweh into the image made like the corruptible man. This is what you see happening. And if you're not giving the Father complete respect for what he has done to give us Yahawashi, then that's what you're doing. Hey, don't kill the messenger, or if you decide to, fine. But that's what he told me to say, okay? This is what you're doing, right? and changed the glory of the uncorruptible Yahawah into an image made like a corruptible man, and the birds and the four-footed beasts and the creeping things. Wherefore Yahawah also gave them up to uncleanness. See, touch not the unclean thing. When you worship his creation through your religious practices, you're touching the unclean thing. And that goes for twistology. That's in the Israelite organization as well. If you are in this truth, or so-called in this truth, and you place more emphasis on your practices of worship that you've been given, and not showing forth the Father as the lead in everything that goes down, and speak it with him first, this is what you're doing. You got organizations that are running around here that believe that their organizational doctrine is more important than the Father himself in terms of showing him the praise, worship, and prayer and love. That becomes unclean. You cannot that's why the Father said you have people who are performing doctrines of devils, because they get locked into their traditions. Traditions of man make void the entire word of Bahasham Yahawashi. And you got traditions that people bring out in Israelite organizations and camps as well. They bring out certain traditions they do, and these traditions they do can become unfounded, and they become unrealized, and they can't be proven, and they stand on certain things like hell doctrines, and they talk about you don't have to know the true name of Bahasham Yahawashi, and they go and bring all kinds of other formidable doctrines in of what they want to have in their lifetime, and they think they're going to drag it and bring it into the kingdom. The Most High is putting up a stop right at the beginning and saying, no, you're not. That's not coming this way. I didn't do it that way in the beginning, and you ain't doing that way when you get here. Because if you get here, you're going to do it his way, or you ain't going to do it. It's as simple as that. And we end up doing this by what? And changing the glory of the uncorruptible Yahawah into the image made like to the corruptible man, because you're looking after what lust is in your mind and in your heart that you want, right? And like for the birds, it talks about how the birds and the four-footed beasts and every creeping thing, whereas Yahawah also gave them up to uncleanness through the lust of their own hearts, to dishonor their own bodies between themselves. This is not only just about people who are doing homophobic activities and things that they should not be doing in terms of touching strange flesh. We know that, but you can do the same thing in your doctrines that you deliver when you bring this out to try to bring the truth out to the people. You can mess up in this way because you're not picking up on the clues that when you push something out, including your belief system and how you bring it and how you teach it, if you're not teaching it the way the Most High needs it directly teach, then what are you doing? You'll have creation worshiping practices because you're worshiping a creation practice within trying to get the truth the way it should come out. You got to stick to, that's why when they brothers talk about you have to have one doctrine, not everybody has something totally different. And this is what we have because that's what the Father's trying to tell you. Everybody's got all kinds of different ways that they're bringing stuff out. And they're talking about, you got camps out here talking about Friday sundown and Saturday sundown is a Sabbath. That's breeded directly from the house of creation worship. Because who did they get it from? Where did it come from? Most High didn't give you that. That's just one example, but we're going to touch a lot more examples anyway. Okay? Who changed the truth of Yahawah into a lie and worshiped and served the creature more than the creator, who is blessed forever. Amen. Say it again. Who changed the truth of Yahawah into a lie and worship and serve the creature more than the creator. And the creator is blessed forever. Amen. Now, before I go down to 26, in terms of, all of what this verse here is starting to tell you, I told you, because he told me to tell you, that this is like a fringe. that goes around the entire understanding, if you can receive it. This is like a fringe that goes around the entire understanding of the fact that we're taking and the Father is giving us the ability to not change the glory of the uncorruptible, his image, into what is corruptible in man, so that you will not lose focus on, you got to worship, praise, and pray to him. You see, even the Son, Yahawashi, was expressing this explicitly throughout the time he was here in his ministry, all the way up to the end, and then when he did leave. He kept telling you to worship the Father, because no one is good but him. No one is good. Nothing in creation is better than the Most High himself. Do I have to open up your brain so you can get that? Nothing in his creation is better than him. Just let it marinate for a minute. If you understand that foundational level of truth, how can you come out your mouth and ever say any doctrine at any level that you don't put him first in? His name has to come out first. His name has to come out first, his real true name. You know, you see it when the people he's led astray, that are as well as Israelites and the heathen. What happens? What's the first thing they say when something goes down? Y'all know the drill. When something good or bad happens or something unexpected happens, what do the heathen say? What do the jakes say? What do the so-called people who say? What do they say? Jesus. What do they say first? Comes right out their face. JC comes right out their face. We have so much of the unclean thing that we've been touching that we can't even speak. We can't have a thought of speech without something corruptible coming out. That's why Yahawashi said there's none good but the Father. And he only promoted what the Father told him to do, and he always came back to saying what the Father said. Even when the spiritual demon Satan was talking to him, when he went up after the 40 days in the wilderness on the mountain, he took him up and he tried to get him to praise and worship. And then, even the spiritual demon Satan had to say, it was all of what he has as far as his kingdom is concerned were given to him. So who gave it to him? Who gave him control? Who gave the spiritual deceivers in this world system control? The Father did. All the power that the Father has goes through the Son. It ain't the Son's power on his own. It comes from a source way back to the Father. That's why he always tells you that. So he keeps telling you, don't worship the creation. That's why the angel said when John fell down, don't worship me. I'm a servant. Worship the Most High. Yahawashi always tells you this. But we talk so much up about creation. We do lessons and all you hear, check yourself, man. Check your stuff. You saying Esau got power. He gonna do this and that to you. Where do you say that it's coming because the Father puppetized him, is in controlling him to do this? When you don't say this, you perpetrate worshiping creation. Can you not see it? Can you not hear it? You have to tell the truth. All the power is in the hands, in the control of Yahawah. And then it's filtered down through Yahawashi and then down to the rest of his creation that's supposed to give it back to him in praise, worship, and prayer so you can get through the clues so we can move forward in prophecy and stop spinning in fucking circles. Salaki. I'm sorry. Oh, man. Okay. Shalaki, I get overly passionate about this. Shalaki, forgive me. Okay. It's just that, we get so caught up in, all of us, me and everyone else, we get so caught up in what we're trying to get out for Yahawashi Yahawashi, that it eats away at your spirit a little bit, which what the Father is going to have it do at that point. Okay, all right. So let me go a little bit further here and just wrap up this part of the chapter, because it's important to finish, and then we can go ahead and move on to the next precepts, because we got a lot to cover here. Prophetic 22. Professing themselves, shock, forgive me a minute. Give me a second. All right. Professing themselves to be wise, they became fools, and changed the glory of the uncorruptible Yahweh into the image made like corruptible man, and the birds and the birds, the four-footed beasts, and the creeping things. Wherefore Yahweh also gave them up to uncleanness through the lust of their own hearts, to dishonor their own bodies between themselves, who changed the truth of Yahweh into a lie, and worship and serve the creature more than the Creator, who is blessed forever. Amen. And he actually said amen, and he stopped there. But of course, there's more. We're going to finish on this. We're going to talk into this category, but we're not going to lean on it too heavy, because we know about it already. 26, for this cause Yahweh gave them up to vile affections, for even their women did change the natural use of that which was against nature. I'm sorry, Shalaki. And likewise also the men, leaving the natural use of the woman, burned in their lust one towards another, men and men, working that which is unseemly, and receiving in themselves the recompense of their error, which was meat. And even as they did not like to retain Yahweh in their knowledge, Yahweh gave them over to a reprobate mind, to those things which are not convenient, being filled with all unrighteousness, fornication, wickedness, covetousness, malice, full of envy, murder, debate, deceit, malignancy, and whispers. Now, see, there's a portion of this, obviously, that talked about some things that were lasciviousness in nature, in terms of what you're not supposed to do with his flesh that he created, that you get carnally confused and start doing things that are unclean and inappropriate. We know about that. So I'm not going to beat on that, because they try to make this particular chapter, Romans chapter 1, about that. And that's not what it's completely about. I'm trying to tell you, the Father says his word is pregnant, it's manifold, it has a multitude of meanings when it comes to what uncleanness they're in. And that's why he said in here, if you notice, he said, 29, being filled with unrighteousness, fornication. That has a big category of things that you can be fornicating about, all the way up to what is in the carnality perspectives of your flesh, all the way through the spiritual aspects of your of how you operate towards earning and working out your salvation in trembling and fear. So fornication covers a real wide plane in that area, but I'm not going to break all of that down in that, because that takes several lessons to do so. But right now we just touched the understanding of it, and we're going to go ahead and talk about the next one, which is wickedness. Okay, wickedness is incorporated in the fact that there are individuals that are created for the day of evil. We know who they are. Okay, they are vessels of wrath fitted for destruction. All they can perform is wickedness. They can't perform anything other than that. They live and breathe and eat it. And then we have individuals that the Most High has allowed to be part of what we would call concupiscence. Concupiscence will bring you into complete complicity with the fact that you are now getting involved with the wickedness because you've been exposed to it. He told you that he's going to take you through it, because his judgment starts first with the house of Israel. So when you get into that level of it, you're now in wickedness. And that's why we see Jake's all inside wickedness, doing wickedness, and we look at it and we get disgusted by it, which you should get disgusted by. But again, the Father's still doing this. He has a purpose behind it. Okay, not going to go too far, but let's move on. Covetousness. Covetousness is obviously a big thing when it comes to the belief system that are out in this world. Everyone who has a religious belief system is operating under a high level of wicked covetousness, because he didn't give us religion. So you covet what you've been taught by a false prophet that the Father put in place, and that covetousness creates an uncleanness in you and around you and anyone else that the Father has selected to be following you. Okay, Geno Jennings is a perfect example of a major covetousness type individual, because he's coveting the wickedness that at the level that he's coveting it. And I'm gonna tell you something. His level of coveting is so crazy that the Most High in himself is probably like, you know, if you follow this dude, you know what level you're gonna be on. Maliciousness, okay, malice. People do stuff with malice and forethought. What are we talking about? You are deliberately doing this stuff. You are deliberately knowing you've been given a clue, you reject the clue, and your malice decides that you're going to go ahead and continue to do this anyway. And of course, he's pushing it. But, you know, once we get off track, we're not picking up the clues. Like I said, we end up getting abused because we don't pick them up. All right. Full of envy. We see that the arrogancy of believing that you have arrived and you've been there and you've done that and you made it. You have envy. The envy is coming out of you. Because why are you envying someone? Because you're at a point where you believe that, okay, hey, look, you think you're better than me? Well, I'm better than you because of what I know and what I understand. So that envy that you had for that person now spreads to you, thinking that they're going to envy you. And this is what you end up bringing, which is wrong. Okay, all right, now let's go back. The next is murder, debate. Well, we know what murder is. You murder yourself daily with some of the things you do in false worship. And of course, debate. You cannot debate this truth. You didn't create it. You didn't write it. It's not coming from your mindset. It's coming from the mindset of Yahawashi. You're there to not debate it. That's not your purpose. People who are acting like they need to debate the truth, how can you debate the truth? You didn't bring it up. You didn't come forth with the truth. You didn't invent the truth. You're one who has been given to receive the truth. All you have to do is tell your part and then leave the power of discernment and judgment and punishment or reward or correction to the one who created it. And you didn't do that. So don't debate people. It's not necessary. Deceit goes without saying. If you're deceitful, you're in a category where you could clearly be set directly for the 2/3 category, and that's just where you're going to be. If you're a deceitful person or you're in deceit, malignity, whispers. We know about all kinds of people who do this, and the Lord's directing them in the false prophecy arena for them to provide that type of activity towards the end of prophecy. Okay. And we got backbiters, haters. Boy, they're laying it out of Yahawah. Spiteful, proud, boasters, inventors of evil things, and disobedient to parents. And the Father is our parent, and we're the most disobedient to him because we perform what? Creation worship. And then we make excuses for why we do it. It's like the lesson that I posted previous to this about your excuses are just well-formed lies. Without understanding, covenant breakers without natural affection, implacable and unmerciful, who knowing the judgment of Yahawah that they which commit such things are worthy of death, not only do the same, but have pleasure in them that do them. And this is what we are dealing with now. That's why I explained the fact that Father never gave us religion. And what we do is we take that format is permeated throughout the world. The religious format is permeated throughout the world. And I hate to say it, and it hurts me to the core, but even Israelite camps still use a format that is religious based. Yes, they do. Prove me wrong and show me where they don't do it. There are so many similitudes of the way religious practitioners perform their activities that are so completely similar to the same way that Israelite organizations do as well. And they try to claim, well, we're not like them. Well, if you're not, then why are you doing the same fraternal type activities as them? Where's the set apartness? Where is it? Okay. See, you get me going off on a tangent, and I can't help it. All right, John. We're going to John chapter 4. Go with me, please. John chapter 4. We're going to start at 23. Unless Most High changes my mind, which he just did, and we're going to go higher. Oh, call Yahawashi, send me outside. Okay. Start at 20. Our fathers worshiped in this mountain. She's talking about the woman who came to him about the water, and he's telling her that there'll be water that you can drink of. You know, okay, all right, well, and about how many husbands and come hither and what have you. Okay, let's read it. Why not? You know, instead of just saying it, roughly paraphrasing it, we're right here. We can do it. All right. Okay. Then saith, all right, this is when the woman, the Sumerian woman, okay, they talk about this a lot, right? The Sumerian woman at the well. Then cometh a woman of Samaria to draw water, and Yahawashi said unto her, give me to drink. Right, so what is he asking for? He's asking for something. Is he asking for water, real water, or is he asking for understanding? Think about it, okay? For his disciples were gone away unto the city to buy meat. Then saith the woman of Samaria unto him, how is it that thou, being a Jew, or knowing he's a Hebrew, right, asketh drink of me, which am a woman of Samaria? Question. We're not going to dig down to her lineage and heritage. We know about all that. We talked about that. If you're studied enough, you know. If you don't, go study about who she is and what lineage she comes from, okay? For the Hebrews, the Jews, have no dealings with the Samaritans. She's living in that area. Is she an Israelite or is she a real Samaritan? Which is she? Do you know? Do you know? Okay, come on. I'm not going to play with you. 10. And Yahawashi answered and said unto her, if thou knowest the gift of Yahweh and who it is that saith these things, do you know who you're speaking to? Okay? Give me to drink. Thou wouldn't have asked of him, and he would have given thee living water, meaning giving you a level of understanding that you don't have and don't know about or not awake to, okay? The woman saith unto him, sir, thou hast nothing to draw with, and the well is deep. From whence hast thou that living water? See, she's carnality. See, that's what I was trying to say before. You know, you have to match up the spirit matching up with spirit of prophecy. She don't know through prophecy, and she's dealing from a carnality perspective. And that's why the carnality is scarce, is very scarce at this point with this situation. Okay? And he says here, the woman saith unto him, sir, thou hast nothing to draw with, and the well is deep. From whence thou hast that living water? Art thou greater than our father Jacob, which gave us the well and drank therefore himself and his children and his cattle? Now, why would she say that if she's talking about he doesn't have anything to draw the water up from a deep well? This is more to it. See, that's why the fringe of understanding has to be brought into perspective here in the scope. She's starting to get the picture here from the conversation that it's not just water that we're talking about here. All right. And Yahawashi answered and said unto her, whosoever drinketh of this water shall thirst again. But whosoever drinketh of the water that I shall give him shall never thirst, but the water that I shall give him shall be in him a well of water springing up into everlasting life. Now, see, you see, it's not talking about carnality. It's talking about something much deeper than that, which is what the Yahawashi is continuously trying to tell you. You're worshiping something that you know not what. By what? She's thinking physically, the water, my father Jacob, and what the cattle are going to get, and the children are going to get, and this thirst. And Yahawashi said, you drink that, you'll be thirsty again. In other words, that understanding is not going to last. Don't you see this to be the case when it comes to religious practitioner belief systems? It's something that you're always continuously thirsty for. They give it to you, and then you're thirsty again, right? Think about it. I was talking about this the other night. People get up and they go to their atheistic churches, and they do all they do all the stuff they're doing during the week, and they go to these whorehouses that they think they call churches, right, to practice their religions. They get all hyped up, they get all excited, they're all over the place, they're losing their mind, they're doing all the wicked dances and everything, right? Not real praising. And then all of a sudden when they leave, by the time they get out the door, and then they go sit down at Golden Corral at the trough and then eat and fill up their fat faces with a bunch of pork and all kinds of crazy stuff. And then they leave the Golden Corral wherever they go, and they go back home and they get to the house. And if they live to make it through the door, whatever that they thought they had, that they supposedly got from some water that was in that church, even if he dumped them in dirty water, it ain't there no more. It's of no avail. It does nothing for them. It's not fulfilling, and they're still thirsty again. It's like, I remember we used to always talk about, you eat some Chinese food and then an hour later you hungry again. Oh, Father, please, let me stay on track. Okay. All right. So the woman said unto him, Sir, give me this water that I thirst not, neither come hither to draw. In other words, give me this understanding so that I won't fall victim to not picking up on the clues. She's literally asking Yahawashi to give her an answer to a clue. Can you see this? Is it getting through the uncleanness of the creation worship you've been doing? I know. Yahawashi said unto her, Go, call thy husband and come hither. Now, why did he tell her to go get her husband so that he could give her an answer? Now, we talked about this before, and we know that a woman is not just supposed to go and get her husband to get understanding, but don't you think that if she had no understanding already, and she was married and she was with this man, he wasn't giving her any understanding. So she was instructed to go get him and bring him, and then he would give her an answer, because he's going to give him an answer as well, which she in turn will talk with him about and get through, and together they get it, right? Drawing all the way back to the beginning when the Most High gave Adam what? The truth. When he breathed the breath of life into his nostrils, or into him, he was giving the truth. He was putting that truth in him. He was putting that knowledge in him, which he in turn was supposed to do what? Share with his woman, his wife, right? That's the way it was going. That's the order of how the Father set it up. You see, Yahawashi went right straight to order. He didn't get out of line and do his own thing. So all these religious practitioners and wacky-tackies and all these different religious belief systems who think that Yahawashi, whether you call him Savior, Prophet, or whatever you call him, he didn't go outside of the Creator and do something that wasn't on schedule. He said to what? Go, call thy husband and come hither. And the woman answered and said, I have no husband. Yahawashi said unto her, Thou hast well said, I have no husband, for thou hast had 5 husbands, and he whom thou now hast is not thy husband, in that saith thou truly. Okay? Now, if she had 5 husbands, meaning all of the men that she was involved with, none of them had the ability to lead her in truth, because they didn't have it. Else, why would she need to go to 5 or have that many or have 6 now? See? So if you jumping around to these various different men, then they must not have the truth, or must not be guided by the Most High in that truth. Why is he moving you around? Again, I said, Most High controls all things. Who you think moved her around to all those different men until she came across Yahawashi and he told her the order of things that have to go? Let's see where it goes. Okay? All right. And the woman saith unto him, Sir, I perceive that thou art a prophet. Why does she perceive that? Because he's telling her something about what she thought he didn't know she had that many men that she was trying to count on for some form of leadership. This is also a similitude of thinking about Israel. Okay, think about it. We've been given the truth. We rejected the clues because we weren't picking up on it. And now we're in all kinds of different belief systems that we're taking on as we're the wife, and the belief systems are the husband that are leading us in the directions that are going against what is the order that the Most High Yahawashi needs us to be in, to be clean and not unclean. Okay? Think about it. When it talks about the children, it's talking about Israel. And when it talks about things that happen to Israel, right, as a wife that's being exposed to what happens to that particular wife or children or that nation of Israel. And so this is like the similitude of that as well, in terms of 5 different men. And the woman can't find no understanding when that children of Israel can't find no understanding in all these different religious belief systems that you see rolling out all over the world, everywhere. And again, all of the things above this in the last chapter we talked about, of the fornication, the idolatry, lasciviousness, the malice, the deceit, all this stuff is rolling down through all these religious practices, which is worshiping creation. You get it? Stay with me. Don't get lost. Okay? All right. And then it says here, she said, the woman saith unto him, Sir, I perceive that thou art a prophet. 20, our fathers worshipped in this mountain, and ye say that in Jerusalem is the place where men ought to worship. How many got that right from just hearing that verse, that precept right there? How many got it? I wonder. That's the beginning of how this is going to come out. But how many got it? It says, our fathers worshipped in this mountain. What did they worship? Who did they worship? See, it says our fathers worshipped in this mountain. Did it say who they worshipped? Didn't say that, did it? Okay. And ye say that in Jerusalem is the place where men ought to worship. Huh? What's Yasharallah? Now, don't we always tell you that Jerusalem is what? Before it's a place, it's a what? It's a people before a place, and the people are supposedly represented by whose name are they called by? Yahawah, right? And say that in Yahawah is the place where men ought to be worshiping. Did you get it? Don't get lost in that. 21, and Yahawashi said unto her, Woman, believe me, the hour cometh when ye shall neither in this mountain is like a nation, represents nation, right? Nor yet at Jerusalem worship the Father. As a people, and not a place, worship the true Heavenly Father, right? Ye worship ye know not what. We know what we worship, for salvation is of the Jews. Now, that has a lot in it to unpack that, because clearly it says ye worship ye know not what. So in other words, you're all worshiping all this creation, all these religions. That's what you're doing. And you don't even know why, because it's empty and you come back thirsty and you're not fulfilled. But we know what we worship, because salvation is of who? The people who the Most High chose, and he's the one that controls everything. So what? For our salvation is of Yahawah, isn't it? But the hour cometh, and now is when the true worshipers, the day of the Lord comes when the true worshipers shall worship the Father in spirit and in truth, for the Father seeketh such to worship him. So if you're going to worship spirit and truth, how do you do that? How many times, I just did a lesson on being trained in the spirit to consistently operate in the spirit, which gives you a manner of when you are consistently operating in the spirit to the best of your ability. When you praise, worship, and pray, you'll be doing it through consistently operating in the spirit instead of being carnal. That's why in this lesson I spoke about the fact that the spirit has to be matching up with the spirit of prophecy, which is Yahawashi. I said it, remember last lesson I said, when you look in the mirror, who do you see? Are you mirroring the Mashiach? Do you see the image of the Mashiach in terms of how it reflects on you and what you're doing and how you're worshiping the Father and giving him all praise, worship, and prayer first before you mention, before you cut out real quick from him and start worrying about praising the creation? How many seconds do you give to the Father of praise and worship before you stop, cut away from his name, cut away from his power, cut away from his sovereignty, and start worshiping the creation after that? Because during the time that you're doing all of your teaching and all of you're going through the word and the scriptures and everything else, how often do you mention him? Or are you just now mentioning what he created? Is this what you're doing? You're not mentioning him anymore. You mention him in the beginning for maybe 3 seconds, and then after that, you don't hear about him no more. All you hear about is what he created and what he's doing with the creation, and not even giving him homage and credit for the stuff he is puppetizing to do. Because you don't say it. That means you're not doing it. So don't tell me, you know what I mean. No, that's like people saying, oh, well, God knows my heart. Same kind of thing. It's not what you say. It's what you do. If you really praising and worshiping him and putting him first before absolutely everything, you will say his name enough within the context of what you're teaching and what you're saying and what you're giving, because that's what he's want. He said, I want to be your everything. You come to me for all things. Okay, Deuteronomy chapter 28:48. Let's talk about that for a second. He said that to go to your enemy for the want of all things. Isn't that right? Do I need to pull it up? I ain't got to pull it up. I know you know it. Let's talk about it. All right, he says you have to go to your enemy for the one of all things. Now, who is your enemy? It's not the Father, but who controls your enemy? The Father controls your enemy. Does he not? Try to tell me he don't control your enemy. Get yourself in that kind of trouble. He controls the enemy. So you have to go to your enemy for the want of all things. Now, which wants do you want? Do you need? Which of the things that you want do you need? Not talking about your lust for how many of this you want, or how many of that you want, how many houses you want, how many cars you want, how many jobs, how many women, how many men. We ain't talking about that. That's what you think your want of all things is. But what is it? What about your needs? Who controls that? Enemy, he controls the enemy, puppetizes them to be a whipping stick for your ass, and mine and everyone else. Okay, the want of all things. Your mindset that he gives you the ability to think about the things that you need and some of the stuff that you want, right? All things. What about all? Does that leave anything out? That means he's in control of everything and all things, all right? All things, everything. He created the substance that created everything. So everything that's created from electrochemiluminescence, he came up with that in order for it to be here. And so you are doing what? Are you going to him? See, that's what I'm saying. You don't give him continuous homage and continuous speak his name that he's doing this. Speak his name that he gave you this. Speak his name that you're grateful for this. Speak the sacred name. Say the sacred name over and over and over again throughout the lesson until people get freaking tired of it. So what? He wants it that way. What do? We big up are doctrines that we understand. I hope it burns your ass, because that's the way it should be. Let's finish up so I can move on to the next precept. All right. Ye worship, 22. Ye worship, ye know not what. We know what we worship, for salvation is of Yahawah. I know it says Jews. But the hour cometh, and now is, when the true worshipers shall worship the Father in spirit and truth, and for the Father seeketh such to worship him. That means that's what he's looking for. Yahawah is a spirit, and they that worship him must worship him in spirit and truth, which means you have to match up the spirit of what he's given you to his spirit in order for this to work. Okay? 25. The woman saith unto him, I know that Messiah cometh, which is called Hamashiach. When he is come, he will tell us all things. He's been telling you all things. You just ain't been picking up the clues. Yahawashi said unto her, I that speak unto thee am he. See, he told you he's he. How much more do you need to know if he's going to tell you right there is he? And upon this came the disciples and marveled that he talked with the woman. Yet no man said, what seekest thou, question, or why talkest thou to her? They ain't going to say that. And the woman then left her water pot and went her way into the city and saith to the men, come see a man which told me all things that ever I did. Is not this Hamashiach? Then they went out of the city and came unto him. In the meanwhile, the disciples prayed him, saying, Master, eat. But he said unto them, I have meat to eat that ye know not of. Meaning, they don't even know. Okay? So that tells you we are lacking a clear understanding of how not to be worshiping the creation. Hey, look, I'm guilty. I'm the front runner of being guilty of that. I put myself out there right in the front. As shameful as it is, I put myself right out there in the front. But I'm saying, we don't even know. Even his disciples follow him. Therefore, said the disciples one to another, hath any man brought him aught to eat? In other words, says, does anybody know what he's talking about? That's what they're asking. We're confused. Of course you are. Yahawashi said unto them, my meat is to do the will of him that sent me and to finish his work. Smoke on that for a minute. Now, what did he say? Who sent him? Whose work is he doing? Hello? Hello? Yahawashi said unto them, my meat is to do the will of him that sent me and finish his work, not his own. So that already tells you right there that if you are into any of these religious practices of any particular belief, religious belief system in the world, it ain't of the Most High. It's not of him. And Yahawashi didn't change anything to let you go around and think that you can go and get involved with these things at a level that takes you away from the truth. Now, let me say this. Can any of these belief systems bring you towards the truth? This is important. The real truth that Yahawashi is wanting you to know. Yes, but that's his prerogative if he draws you in one and out to bring you to real truth. Like I said, that's why I said I call myself the first living shameful example. I used to be in the Nation of Islam, FOI, okay, all that. And he drew me out of that. because it wasn't for me to be in that and stay in that, because that wasn't my lot. But here I am at this conditioning position now. But I was in, just like everybody, and a lot of us, we were all in that worshiping creation through religion. We were all in it. But why are we holding on to fringes of it and still using it in the Israelite awakened truth that you claim you in now? Do you see what I'm saying? Why are you still holding on to some of the fringes of that religious practitioner belief system of creation worshiping and trying to incorporate it in the truth of the doctrines that you teach? Why are you doing this? Why is he letting you and directing you to do these portions of it? What is it that he is not pleased with about you not picking up the clues that you can let the fringes of that stuff go? There's fringes in that false religious practitioner belief creation system too. They've got fringes around their stuff. Why are you holding on to that? Why are you putting stuff in the truth that you can't prove through the scriptures? Why are you fringing like that? You're a fringer. Why you being a goddamn fringer avenger? Gotta stop. You gotta pick it up. 35. Say not ye therefore there are yet 4 months, and then cometh harvest. Behold, I say unto you, Yahawashi speaking, lift up your eyes and look on the fields, for they are white already to harvest. They are ripe already to harvest. And he that reapeth receiveth wages, and gathereth fruit unto life eternal, that both in that soweth and he that reapeth may rejoice together. So he's telling you right now, as the harvest of knowledge and understanding is being brought forth to you, and you look upon these fields that are ripe for already being harvested, you're not gaining and granting the understanding. Because see, he was doing some massive teaching right here when he dealt with the Samaritan woman, and it wasn't about some water. It was about understanding what position you should be in with Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi when it comes to understanding who you're supposed to be worshiping and how you're supposed to be worshiping and in what manner you're supposed to be receiving the understanding. And this is what he's asking the disciples who are rolling with him, which is what a major privilege it is, right? 37. And herein is that saying true, one soweth and another reapeth, right? I set you to reap that wherein ye bestowed no labor. Whoa. Now, is that not a cut, and is that not deep? He said here, I sent you to reap that wherein ye bestowed no labor. Other men labored, and ye are entered into their labor. Now, so what are you supposed to learn when you're entered into the labor of other men who sowed things that you're supposed to learn from? You're supposed to not continue to be going around in circles. If you're still going around in circles and you're not picking up the clues to raise to another level so the Most High can move you through prophecy, then you're in this labor that someone else did, and you're not worthy of the labor because you're not reaping of the harvest in the way you're supposed to. That's what he said. And herein is that saying true, one man soweth and another reapeth. And I sent you to reap that wherein ye bestowed no labor, other men labor, and ye are entered into their labor. And many of the Samaritans of the city believed on him for the saying of the woman, which testified, he told all that ever I did. So when the Samaritans were come unto him, they besought him that he would tarry with them so he could teach and tell them some more stuff, right? And he abode there 2 days. And many more believed because of his own word, right? And the word of the Father, because that's who sent him, and said unto the woman, now we believe not because of thy saying, but we have heard him ourselves, and know that this is indeed Hamashiach, the Savior of the world of Israel, not the whole world. And see, these devils like to leave stuff out and put stuff in, right? Now, after 2 days, he departed thence and went into Galilee. For Yahawashi himself testified that a prophet hath no honor in his own country, right? So I'm going to stop there for a minute, because a lot of the men who are teaching, and I don't claim myself to be nobody's prophet. I'm just a servant for the Most High that I know. That's all he ever gave me as far as that's concerned. But, even servants are not as well. They're not given anything that is of any value as far as looking at. They don't look at servants or prophets in this world, in his own country, as being valid. And certainly if you're speaking truth, now if you go out and you speak about what the religious practitioners are doing and all the religious worshipers are doing, you get plenty of credit. Look at all of them, the TD Snakes and the worthless dollars and the feminine Olsteins and all the rest of them. Look at what they're doing. They get all kinds of credit, but because they're teaching a doctrine of worshiping creation, and they all want that. They love that. They eat it up. Like Paul said, you might as well bear with it. If they give you another JC, just go for it, which is what they do anyway, because they're directed to do it. That's their lot. They have to do it. I'm not complaining about it. I'm fine with it, because whatever the Most High decides he wants to do, I'm completely on board. I don't have a problem. I'm fine. I'm not arguing it. I'm not complaining. I'm not bitching and moaning. He's doing exactly what he's going to do, and I have no power, control over it. I'm going to roll and flow with what he's going with. So if he decides that he wants to bug out everybody except for maybe however many few, then that's what he's going to do. And I'm all for it, whatever you want to do. I have no problem with it whatsoever. Then that's for sure. All right, we're going into the next, because we rolling here. We got a lot we rolling with, and like I said, I got time, man. I mean, if people are out there and y'all celebrating your wicked holidays, go ahead and go watch Rudolph the Red-Nosed Bug-Out or some crazy stuff. Who cares? I don't care. I ain't got nothing to do with that. All right, I'm at 1 Corinthians. I'm going chapter 8. Go there, and I just want to give you 6 out of that. I'm not going to give you 5. I was, but he doesn't want that. He just wants 8. 8 and 6. 6. But to us there is but one power, the Father, of whom all things, and we in him, and one Lord, Yahawashi Hamashiach, by whom all things, and we by him. So in other words, the Father's telling you straight off the bat, he's the one that's got he is the main power, but he's given his son the authority and the power to do what's necessary in his name the way he said do it. There's no deviation in Yahawashi Hamashiach. He ain't changing what the Father said have done. So don't get it twisted and start thinking that, now JC's changed it. No, he didn't. And no one else is included except for Israelites, so stop bugging out. Stop saying that's bugged out, even though we know you're directed to be bugged out. Okay? There you go. And make sure I correct myself on that one. Shalaki. I'm sorry about that. Had to do it. Had to do it. Okay, we're going to Philippians chapter 2, so go with me next to precepts. We're going to get through. We ain't got too many more to go. We're going to be all right. Philippians chapter 2, and I'm going to start right at the top, okay? Because this is a short one. I'm going to shoot down to probably about 18. Bear with me. All right, this is where you have to learn to try not be like Mike, be like Hamashiach, be like Yahawashi Hamashiach, not like Mike. If there be any consolation in Hamashiach, if any comfort of love, if any fellowship of the Spirit, if any bowels and mercies, okay, fulfill ye my joy, that ye be like-minded, having the same love, being of one accord and of one mind. Don't we always try to tell you There's only one way to praise, worship, and pray and take care of giving that homage to the Father. There's no deviation in all kinds of different doctrines all over the place. And if you're not of one accord, you're not in the truth. I'm sorry. That's it. You're not in the truth. 2, fulfill ye is, oh yeah, okay, we did that one. 3, let nothing be done through strife or vain glory, but in lowliness of mind, let each esteem other better than themselves. Let me read that one again, because that is a very problematic situation for a lot of people. 3, let nothing be done through strife or vain glory, but in lowliness of mind, let each esteem other better than themselves. In other words, I've always told my daughters when we talked about various things, and I say, you should love yourself. You have to love yourself first. But if you have someone that is a soulmate or someone that is supposed to be in your life for eternity, you have to try to love them as much as you love yourself, if not a little bit more, or else how could you really make it work? You see, I'm not telling you to disregard yourself, but you got to have that amount of love for yourself, for them, which in turn means you got to love the Father more than you love anything. You got to have it that level before you love anything. Okay. Let nothing be done through strife and vainglory, but in lowliness of mind, let each esteem other better than themselves. 4, look not every man on his own things, but every man also on the things of others. Let this mind be in you, which was also in Hamashiach Yahawashi. See what I mean? That's why I asked you about, if you look in the mirror, what reflection do you see? Do you see yourself? Yeah, you better see yourself, but do you see the reflection and the image of Hamashiach that is your aura that presents how you are to be looked at? Do you see how you're washed in the blood of Yahawashi Hamashiach, and that image shows that you are using the mind of Hamashiach? Do you see that, right? 6, okay? Who being in the form of Yahawah, though thought it not robbery to be equal to the Most High. Why did he think it not robbery? Because he's doing what his Father sent him to do. He didn't change anything that the Father told him to do. He's doing exactly what the Father sent him here to do. But made himself of no reputation, right? And took upon the form of a servant. Ding, that's when the phone should ring, right? Ding, and was made in the likeness of men. He didn't say he was a prophet. They said he was a prophet. He said he was a servant. Interesting. If you can receive that. And being found in the fashion as a man, he humbled himself and became obedient unto death, even the death of the cross. Humbled himself. How many of you have been humbled to be able to receive and be obedient? Wherefore Yahawah also hath highly exalted him. See, that's where the exaltation comes, right? Got to think about that and remember it. See, a lot of people don't remember that. Shalaki, give me a second. Woo! Oh, man. Gotta plug in that little power surge there for a second. Be right with you. As soon as we get straight here. I should have charged it more, right? We're going to get it. Where in the hell? There it is, right there. Got it. Shalaki, sorry about that. Sometimes. Okay. I'm back. Just had to get that part straight. All right. All right. We're good. Shalaki on that. Give me a second. I had to get a second there. All right. Wherefore, Yahweh also hath mightily exalted him and given him a name which is above every name, which is the Most High's name, clearly, right? And that at that name of Yahawashi, every knee should bow, of things in heaven and things in earth and things under the earth. See, so creation worship is off the chart with what's happening because the Most High just told you there. And that name of Hamashiach, Yahawashi, every knee should bow of things in heaven, creation, and things in earth, creation, and things under the earth, creation. And that every tongue should confess that Yahawashi Hamashiach is Lord, creation, to the glory of Yahawah, the glory of the power of the Father, right? Yahawah the Father. 12, wherefore my beloved, see, he's talking about his beloved, so his beloved are who? Those are the Israelites. Those are the ones who were the chosen people. They are the beloved. He ain't beloved in nobody else. As ye have always obeyed, not as in my presence only, but now much more in my absence, work out your salvation with fear and trembling. See, showing the Most High the level of love that he deserves because of the fact that you're his creation. He controls whether you live, you die, or whether you survive, or whether you prosper, or whether you get the clues or you don't get the clues, right? All right. And it says, every tongue shall confess, and that the name of Yahawashi, every knee shall bow, the things in heaven, the things in earth, the things under the earth, and that every tongue should confess that Yahawashi Hamashiach is Lord, to the glory of the Father. Wherefore, my beloved, as ye have always obeyed, not as in my presence only, but now much more in my absence, work out your own salvation in trembling and fear, for it is of Yahawah which worketh in you both to will and to do his good pleasure. See, for it is Yahawah which worketh in you both to will and to do his good pleasure. See, he's controlling everything. All right? All right? Do all things without murmurings and disputing. In other words, stop getting upset and stop getting bent out of shape because Most High presents some bug outs to you in the world. So what? It's his bug outs. He selected them for this special time to be the types of assholes that they have to be. Why you got a problem with that? Just talk about it and keep it moving. Teach something that they can rely on and relate to help them go through certain series of prophecy. We know that he going to do a lot of stuff to people to get them all bugged out like crazy. That's the purpose of why he sent them here to do that. But you have to pick up on the clues to say, all right, got it. Geno Jennings, no kind of bug out he is. Jake's doing this weird stuff with their bodies and all kinds of other stuff. Yep, Most High's doing that. Get into the groove where you're saying, hey, this is what the Father's doing today. Or, you look at it and say, okay, got it. Most High Yahawah through Yahawashi doing that today now to the Jakes, okay? Because that's what he's doing. You can't stop it. Why are you complaining about it? Just move on and teach something that's valid towards the presence and the position of prophecy that we're moving through. He gets plenty of it out there to deal with as far as teaching that method. Okay, let's go. Keep moving. All right. It says, do all things without murmurings and disputings, right? That ye may be blameless and harmless, the sons of Yahawah, without rebuke, in the midst of the crooked and perverse nation, among whom ye shine as lights in the world, which is what you're supposed to be doing, right? 16, holding forth the word of life, that I may rejoice in the day of Hamashiach, that I have not run in vain, neither labored in vain. Okay, so that means you don't need to be worshiping creation. You should be worshiping the Most High, right? And giving him complete credit all the time throughout all the stuff you're talking about and doing. Because see, when individuals, hear what you say and how you say it and the way you preach it and teach it, when they hear this stuff, if they don't hear you giving them the foundation and the origin of how this stuff is all coming about, they get confused, because then they start thinking that there's some outside power that's doing something that's greater than the Most High himself. That's how they get all messed up and confused in worshiping JC. You see, and worshiping, false deities, because you're not telling them that the Most High got them to make these false deities. The Most High's got them to do this stuff. You're not telling them this continuously throughout the lessons and what you're saying. And if you don't do that, then they get confused and think that there's some power doing something that the Most High is not in control of. You're making a big mistake when you do that. 16, holding forth the word of life, that I may rejoice in the day of Hamashiach, that I have not run in vain, neither labored in vain. Yea, and if I be offered upon the sacrifice and service of your faith, I joy and rejoice with all of you. That's correct. See, because we all have to get out of here. We all have a circle of sacrifice that will be fulfilled. We all got to do it. Every single one of us at some point in time. All of the former patriarchs and apostles and disciples that followed Bahasham, Yahawashi, and Yahawashi, they all performed their circle of sacrifice before they went back to the spirit world with the Father. For the same cause also do ye joy and rejoice with me. That's 18, okay? So I'm just trying to tell you, again, you can't get trapped in worship, praise and worship of the creation. This is what the lesson is trying to continue to tell you, and you got to continue to give the Father praise, worship, and prayer, and give him total credit for everything that he's doing in reference to how things are turning out, which is what we want. That's exactly what we want, right? I'm going to Ephesians now, so go with me to Ephesians, and let's see, I'm going to do chapter 1, verse 11, okay? It says, in whom also we have obtained an inheritance, being predestined according to the purpose of him who worketh all things after the counsel of his own will. I can read that 1,000,000 times, and people still will not just completely break down and continue to say over and over again that everything that's being done on all levels, all agendas, all platforms is being controlled by the Most High. Again, in whom we also have obtained an inheritance, being predestined according to the purpose of him who worketh all things after the counsel of his own will, that we should be to the praise of his glory, who first trusted Hamashiach, in whom ye also trusted after ye heard the word of truth, the gospel of your salvation, to whom also after that ye believed, ye were sealed with the Holy Spirit of promise, with the Ruach HaKodesh of promise, which is what you should be thinking about, which is the earnest of our inheritance until the redemption of the purchased possession unto the praise of his glory. Okay? See, so even before the worlds were made, let's go up here to 4. All right? Same one, Ephesians 1, right? 4, according as he hath chosen us in him before the foundation of the world, that we should be holy and without blame before him in love, having predestined us unto the adoption of children by Yahawashi Hamashiach to himself, according to the good pleasure of his will. See, he's controlling it all. So you have to continue to speak his sacred name through all portions of what you're teaching all the time. Keep saying it over and over again, over and over and over and over and over again through everything, because he's controlling all of it. Man, rock heads, foreheads of flint, like it says in his Isaiah. We got foreheads of flint, man. Rock heads, man. Can't seem to get it. You know? Oh, boy. Exodus, go with me. Chapter 20. Exodus chapter 20. Be with me on this one. Exodus chapter 20. Go there. And we're going to start at verse 3. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. See, don't do this. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them. For I, Yahawah, thy power, am a jealous power, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me. See, if you ain't worshiping him, he'll get you all the way back through these generations and bring your ass back here and you'll pay for it. 5, thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them. For I, Yahawah, thy power, am a jealous power, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me, and showing mercy unto thousands of them that love me and keep my commandments, meaning speak about him in anything and everything and everything and anything and all the time. Thou shalt not take the name of Yahawah thy power in vain by worshiping his creation and giving his creation a fake name that's not his. Right? For Yahawah will not hold him guiltless that taketh his name in vain. You will not be forgiven for this, you devils that start calling him God and calling Jesus Christ Yahawashi. I'm telling you, you're not going to get away from this, man. You're not. He's tired, he's sick of the crap that y'all need to pay attention to his clues. All right? Remember the Sabbath day and to keep it holy, as he said. All right? And 6 days thou shalt labor and do all thy work. Now, if you're going to remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy, you know that that has a similitude of respect that was going to continue to be perpetuated even when we get to the new covenant, the new kingdom. We're going to still have the Sabbath in the new kingdom. So you got people out here that won't even do it at all. And then the ones who are doing it or doing it wrong, that makes it even worse. Stop creation worshiping and start worshiping the Father through the name of Yahawashi HaMashiach. 10. But the seventh day is the Sabbath of Yahawah by thy power, in that thou shalt do not do any work. Thou shalt nor thy sons, nor thy daughter, thy manservant, nor thy manservants, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates. Okay? Because you know, 6 days you can work, and then on the seventh day count them. You're not supposed to be doing anything other than giving the Lord praise, worship, and prayer, which is what they're doing in heaven. You want to go there, but you don't want to do the things they're doing there. So how are you going to think that you're going to get to go? You know, isn't this just why the Father said in his word that who has descended to heaven, who has descended from heaven? Only Yahawashi. Because nobody else can do it, because you don't want to do what they're doing in heaven, those that have descended there. You don't. Okay, I'm going to Isaiah 29. So go with me. We're going to wrap it up soon, but you know, I don't care. Y'all ain't got nothing. I don't have, hey, look, this is what I live for. I live for this. So I could do this 24/7, don't got a problem with it, whatever. In fact, I try to. Basically, I'm always thinking and contemplating and marinating scripture in my spirit, and that wells up. And then when the Father gets me to a pinnacle, a point where he needs me to be, then he'll say, all right, bust it out, go get that lesson done. And then I'll just go do it. Isaiah chapter 29, and we're going to go and start at 9. Okay. All right. All righty. Stay yourselves, right? That's it. Yeah. Right. Stay yourselves and wonder. Cry ye out and cry. They are drunken, but not with wine. They stagger, but not with strong drink. See, this is how these false worshipers thinking that they're talking to Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, but they're not. For Yahawah hath poured out upon you the spirit of deep sleep and hath closed your eyes. The prophets and your rulers and the seers hath he covered. See, he's doing all this. He's giving you the false prophets. He's putting people to sleep. He's leading them astray because it ain't their time. And not only is it not their time, it might not be their time on this side. They might have to have their time on the other side after this is over. I don't know. I'm just presenting the information. Okay? 11. And that's all I have to do is present the information. I don't have to understand completely why he's doing it. I just have to present the information. And when he gives me the understanding to bring it out, I will. Until then, I'm not going to add anything or make anything up and go any further than that. 11. And the vision of all is become unto you as the words of a book that is sealed, which men deliver to one that is learned, saying, read this, I pray thee. And he saith, I cannot, for it is sealed. Well, how does it become unsealed? And the book is delivered to him that is not learned, saying, read this, I pray thee. And he saith, I am not learned. Wherefore the Lord said unto, for as much as this people draw near me with their mouth and with their lips do honor me, but have removed their hearts far from me, and their fear towards me is taught by the precepts of men. See, that's how you get all messed up, because you following the precepts of men who are adding their lust and their thoughts and the things they want and think that they're going to have that they can't reconcile in the truth. And the Most High is saying you're going through what he calls sleep. He locked you out, blocked you spiritually, and you don't understand. And you're not going to understand until you give him some praise, worship, and prayer, and then he'll open up the clues so you can figure out that you've been worshiping creation and not worshiping him. And then you could come out of this stuff. Wherefore the Lord saith, for as much as the people draw near to me with their mouth and with their lips do honor me, but have removed their hearts far from me, and their fear towards me is taught by the precepts of men. Therefore, behold, I will proceed to do a marvelous work among this people, even a marvelous work and a wonder. For the wisdom of their wise men shall perish, and the understanding of their prudent men shall be hid. Okay, so how does that work? Are you going in freaking circles in what you're teaching? Are you teaching stuff that's not really giving the truth in terms of the profitableness of what the Father says he wants from you, not what your organization wants from you? Which is it? See? So therefore, behold, I will proceed to do a marvelous work among this people, even a marvelous work and wonder, for the wisdom of their wise men shall perish, and the understanding of the prudent men shall be hid. Woe unto them that seek deep to hide their counsel from Yahawah, and their works are in the dark, and they say, who seeth us? And who knoweth us? See, now this not only just pertains to Esau, Edom, and his wicked self, because he's created to do the wicked. So he can't really hide anything because he's a vessel of wrath fitted for destruction, and all he does is destroy. So he's very clearly able, you can clearly see that. But those who also hide their counsel, they hide it among some of their organizations, and they bring this wickedness out when they seek to hide their counsel, because they do stuff in secret, and they bring out stuff that they can't validate in this truth, and calling the Father a name that's not his, monetizing his word and his truth, trying to make all kinds of people pay them for the purpose of giving them information that ends up twisting up the scripture and having people say, oh, you know what? I can't validate that Paul actually wrote this in Hebrew, so therefore I'm not going to say this is the word of the Most High. See, this kind of stuff, man, Most High is doing this to them. Don't get upset over it, and don't spend too much time, badgering it and bashing it, because the Father's doing this to them for a reason. And the reason is they have to fulfill this part of prophecy because they're led astray in that way. And that's what they're supposed to do, right? That's why when they seek deep to hide their counsel from Yahawah, they ain't hide nothing. He's pushing this agenda. And their works are in the dark. You think the Most High don't see in the dark as well as the light? He's got it all covered. You can't hide anything, okay? And they say, who seeth us and who knoweth us? Like, you see us, but do you know more than what we know? Who running around trying to act like that? Figure it out, okay? 16, surely your turning of things upside down shall be esteemed as the potter's clay. For shall the work say to him that made it, he made me not? Or shall the thing framed say unto him that framed it, he hath no understanding? So how you going to claim that the Most High set forth Paul to have certain scriptures and precepts put out in Hebrews, but because you have a problem with the way the Most High has put the truth through the confines of filtering the truth through the lies, that you can't validate who you think scribed the particular scriptures or the letters, so you're going to say it's not of the Most High's word. See, you're being led that way, and we call you a demon, but we know that the Most High is deceptively using you in this way because he's probably, I don't know for sure, but he's probably gearing you towards Ezekiel chapter 20, where he's going to take your asses into the wilderness and y'all going to really be chastised in a way to get refined in terms of what you really supposed to be doing. So this is what you got coming towards you. From what I can see, all praises to Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi. And that's how it goes. All right. It is not yet a very little while. It's, yeah. Did I read that one? No, that's what. Okay. Yeah, that's what I said. Surely you're turning the things upside down shall be esteemed as the potter's clay. For shall the work say to him that made it, he made me not? Question. Or shall the thing framed say of him that framed it, he hath no understanding? You can't say the Most High don't have any understanding on why he's doing this. And anytime you complain about what he's doing through prophecy and how he's bugged out whoever he's bugged out, and you're trying to say he has no understanding, man, let me stand far away from you. Let me stand really far away from you, because you in a situation where you about to really catch it. Okay, we're going to Hebrews now. We're getting ready to finish up soon here. All right, we're getting close. We only got a couple more to do, and then we'll be about to get out, because once I say so, not me. Okay, I'm going to go to Hebrews. Let's see. I went 13. Let me see here. No, let me go Hebrews. I'm gonna get 13, and then I'll hit 12. Okay, so bear with me. All right, Shalaki, bear with me. 13, 15, right? Yes, what I had, yeah. Hebrews chapter 13, 15. By him, therefore, let us offer the sacrifice of praise to Yahawah continually. That is the fruit of our lips, giving thanks to his name. Okay, read it again. By him, therefore, let us offer the sacrifice of praise to Yahawah continually. That is the fruit of his lips, of our lips, giving praise to his, thanks to his name. See, he's saying praise to him continually, which means anytime you come out your mouth when you're having a conversation with someone, whether it be in passing on the street, a family member, not a family member, if my daily conversation, I could safely say there's not a time when, if I end up with a conversation with someone, that I'm not coming out of my mouth through my lips giving praise of some sort to Yahawashi, Bahasham, Yahawashi, in terms of whatever that conversation is. I'm going to start to turn that conversation in that direction. It's just automatic. It's involuntary with me at this point. It has to happen. I don't care what subject I'm talking about. If I'm talking to someone, eventually I'm going to bring out something that has to do with the control that the Father has over what's happening with his creation in terms of and I've been foundationally been trained to kind of do that. Foundational conversations, bringing that forward, and then asking the question, speak to the foundation of the understanding and give me your answer. And this is what my conversation tends to be when I have a conversation. And that's what the Father wants from me. Now, whether he wants it from you, I don't know, but he wants it from me. Okay, so that's why I wanted. So then we'll go back to 12. Now I'm going to start Hebrews chapter 12, and I'm going to start at the top, and then we'll read down. It's not a long chapter, and it really brings home what I'm trying to tell you about. You cannot worship the creation. Don't get distracted from the clues. He's not telling you to do that. 12 verse 1. Wherefore, seeing we also are compassed about with so great a cloud of witnesses, let us lay aside every weight and the sin which doeth so easily beset us, and let us run with patience the race that is set before us. In other words, you have to start picking up on the clues as quickly as prophecy is starting to present itself, that the Most High is bringing it forward. And if you don't, you're going to get trampled over. You're not going to make it. 2, looking unto Yahawashi, the author and finisher of our faith. See, that's why I said you need to look in the mirror and see who you see. Who for the joy that was set before him endured the cross, despising the shame, and is set down at the right hand of the throne of Yahawashi. For consider him that endures such contradiction of sinners against himself, lest ye be weary and faint in your minds. See, and that's akin to Proverbs 3:11 and 12, that you don't let this happen to you, okay? Because the Father's discipline is what's important. And it says here, ye have not resisted unto blood, striving against sin. Have we all completely resisted unto blood? Now, some of us have come close, but a time's coming where the circle of sacrifice is going to come, where you may have to just be striving against sin and offer some blood up for it. I don't know in what way the Father will request it from me or anyone else, but it's coming. And when that, like I said before earlier in the commentary, when the Father shuts the door to Jacob's trouble and everybody's locked in, now you think about this for a minute. I'm not going to stay too long on it, but I'm going to say it again. Okay, now, once the Father has shut the door on Jacob's trouble, all of the windows and opportunities of grace will no longer be in effect. Okay, everything has been set in motion and has been set to happen, as now at that point happened. And once that door to Jacob's trouble is shut in, wherever you are is where you're going to deal with Jacob's trouble at the highest degree and level of the exposure that the Father's putting out. And if you are not at a position where you are solidly grounded in making sure you give him the first fruits of your praise, worship, and prayer, you're going to be in the darkness, whether you're in the light of day. It doesn't matter, because you will have no communication and no expansion of communication with anyone that can help you at that point. He's not going to be answering any of your prayers and your calls at that time, once Jacob's trouble is locked into full-blown activity and all the plagues and everything that's coming down is going to happen. That's it. That's the stage of the point where we're going to roll through prophecy so fast and swift, it's going to be unbelievable. And a lot of people are going to be completely caught off guard because they think they have time and we don't. So just want to make that clear. Okay. 5, and ye have forgotten the exhortation which speaketh unto you as unto children. My son, despise not the chastening of the Lord, nor faint when thou art rebuked of him. For whom the Lord loveth, he chasteneth, and scorneth every son whom he receiveth. If ye endure chastening, Yahweh dealeth with you as with sons. For what son is he whom the Father chasteneth not? But if ye be without chastisement, wherefore are all partakers? Then ye are bastards and not sons. So as he goes ahead and he takes these bug outs to these different levels of exposure to you and everyone that is need be addressed through them and by them and around them, how you receive that is one way, because I'm gonna tell you something. Receiving bug outs that irk you and cause you discomfort and cause you a level of pain is a form of chastisement that you have to weather as an education on knowing the Father's doing this, and that it's not towards your end, but it's towards your education on the fact that he's in control, he's doing it, recognize that he's doing it, and proceed forward, okay? Don't get lost and stuck in one spot going in a circle because you're being offended by the bug outs and the things that he's doing. Don't do that, okay? All right, so the chastisement came in that format, all right? Okay, so furthermore, we have had fathers of our flesh which corrected us, and we gave them reverence. Shall we not much rather shall we much not rather be in subjection unto the Father of spirits and live? Question. For they verily for a few days chastened us with their own pleasure, but he for our profit, that we might be partakers of his holiness. Now, no chastening for the present seemeth to be joyous, but grievous. Nevertheless, afterwards it yieldeth the peaceable fruit of righteousness unto them which are exercised thereby. So you may get a little bit of reprieve so you can focus on what's coming next, because as you can see, that's the same thing that's repeated, which is coming up here. I'm going to talk about it. Genesis 25 through 29, 34, and 27, 30 through 40. Okay. Wherefore lift up the hands which hang down and the feeble knees, and make straight paths for your feet, lest that which is lame be turned out of the way, but let it rather be healed. So the Father will tell you right off the bat, you're going to go through certain straight paths with your feet, but you will feel as though at times you're lame. You can't do this or move there, and you get confused. But it says out of the way, but let it rather be healed. So you can, that's why I'm saying you can't get stagnated and stuck in one place, and you're not getting the exhortation and the exaltation that's necessary for you to move to that next level, right? Follow peace with all men and holiness, without which no man shall see the Lord. Now, peace with all men means, just like the Father says, everybody you come across in this world, when you first address them, see what they bring in the spirit, because you don't know, it might be an Israelite, or they might be an angel, or you don't know what they might be, or they might be a demon or a devil. But you can pretty much perceive it if you, in other words, you follow peace with all men and holiness, without which no man shall see the light of the Lord. You can judge that how it's presented to you, and then you address it accordingly from that fashion. Looking diligently, lest any man fail of the grace of Yahawah, lest any root or bitterness springing up trouble you, and thereby many be defiled. Lest there be any fornicator or profane person as Esau, he'll show you who he is, because he's showing you, who for one morsel of meat sold his birthright. For ye know how that afterwards, when we would have inherited, when he would have inherited the blessing, he was rejected, for he found no place of repentance, though he sought it carefully with tears. So you know right off the bat, if the Most High said that this entity was created as a vessel of wrath fitted for destruction, he's not going to be able to repent from this. And your job is not to try to chastise him in a way. Just tell him what his fate is and keep it moving, okay? Don't debate with him about it. It's not necessary, all right? Unless you're trying to get clickbait to monetize the Mashiach, okay? Which is not what we're supposed to do. Now, we want to hit this contrast of Sinai and Zion because it's important. So we're going to go down to 18, and it says here, for ye are not coming to the mount that might be touched and that burned with fire, nor unto blackness and darkness of tempest. And the sound of the trumpet and the voice of the words, which voice they heard threatened that the word should not be spoken to them anymore. So you don't want this to become your case. You want the Father to be able to speak to you and for you to get the clues. For they could not endure which was commanded. And if so much as a beast touch the mountain, it shall be stoned, or thrust through with a dart. In other words, the Father's not going to at all tolerate anyone that's not going to commit themselves directly and completely to understanding his truth and moving forward. And so terrible was the sight that Moses said, I exceedingly fear and quake. But ye are come unto Mount Zion and unto the city of the living power, the heavenly Jerusalem, and to an immutable company of angels, to the general assembly, and to the Israelites of the firstborn, which are written in heaven, and to YAHAWAH power, the judge of all, and to the spirits of just men made perfect, and to Yahawashi, the mediator of the new covenant, and to the blood of sprinkling that sprinkleth better than them that of Abel. In other words, that sprinkling was the formation of an understanding towards the altar that we're moving towards, because we got an altar of this earthly plane is going to be an altar that the Father's going to show you the sacrifices will be obtained. All right. So we're coming towards that unshaken kingdom, right? See that ye refuse not him that speaketh, for if they escape not who refuse him that spake on earth, much more shall not we escape if we turn away from him that speaketh from heaven. So the Father's telling you, none of us are going to escape what's going to happen as long as you're in the flesh. If he takes you home while this prophetic period of time is in play here where we are so close, that's a blessing too. It's a blessing. Sometimes my brothers will say, yeah, well, so-and-so got taken out. See that? It could also be a blessing to be taken out, because if you're not here and he don't send you back in this prophetic period of time, you're at rest, okay? So while you're at rest, you're not going through Jacob's trouble here. But if you here, when Jacob's trouble kicks off, you're going to go through it. I don't care who you are. It will touch you in some way. You will not escape it completely. Just like I always say, the Hebrew children still went into the fire. They were not harmed, but don't you think they felt like they were going to be harmed up to the point that they were actually put in there and all that was happening before they saw Yahawashi in there? Now you think about it. Before they didn't see Yahawashi in there until they got in there. But think about how they were feeling and what they were going through all the way up to the time that they were actually put in the fire. See, this is the part that a lot of us don't seem to get that understanding and that clue. Yes, they were protected when they were in the fire. And yes, once they got in there, their clothes and nothing was even singed, burned, not even the smell of smoke or fire. And when they were brought out, the ones that brought them out were killed, just like the ones that were putting them in were killed, right? But they didn't get harmed. But don't you think about witnessing the ones that's putting you in the fire and they're getting killed. You're looking at that and you're trying to figure out what is going on and why aren't you getting destroyed? And then you get in there and until you see Yahawashi, you believe you're going to burn up because you saw the men putting you in get burnt up. And then you saw the men, when they were getting you out, getting burnt up. And so you're trying to say, whoa, what level of miracle are we talking about here? Think about the power that the Father's showing you here. This is why I keep trying to beat it in your heads to say, pick up on the clues. I can't make you understand it or receive it, but I can just tell you to pick up on the clues and marinate on them, on these parts that are fringe to your understanding. Reading 25. See that ye refuse not him that speaketh, for if they escape not who refuse him that spake on earth, hear what I'm saying? Much more shall not we escape. We can't escape if we turn away from him that speaketh from heaven, whose voice then shook the earth, but now he hath promised, saying, yet once more I shake not the earth only, but also heaven. See, he's going to do it all. And this word, yet once more, signifieth the removing of those things that are shaken, as of things that are made. Stop, think, read again. I'm telling you, stop worshiping the creation and worship Yahawah, whose voice then shook the earth, but now he hath promised, saying, yet once more I shake not the earth only, but also heaven. And this word, yet once more, signifieth the removing of things that are shaken, as the things that are made, that those things which cannot be shaken may remain. Wherefore we receiving a kingdom which cannot be moved, let us have grace whereby we may serve Yahawah acceptably with reverence and glory and godly fear, whereby we may serve Yahawah acceptably, his level of acceptably, not your organization, with reverence and godly fear, for our power is a consuming fire. Couple more, and we're going to be out. I'm going to 2 Kings, chapter 17. Join me. All right. 2 Kings, join me, 17, starting at 38. And it reads, and the covenant that I have made with you, ye shall not forget, neither shall ye fear other gods. Stop worshiping other fake gods. But Yahawah, your power, ye shall fear, and he shall deliver you out of the hand of your enemies. Howbeit, they did not hearken, but they did after their former manner. So these nations feared Yahawah and served their graven images, both their children and their children's children, as did their fathers, so do they unto this day. Don't you? Don't we? So we're going to wrap it up in Isaiah. So go with me. Isaiah chapter, you know where I'm going, 43. Because I love the way my Father blesses and gives us grace. All right. This is where we're going to wrap it up. So it's not that long, not that many. It's only 28 verses. So let's get it. Isaiah 43. But now thus saith Yahawah that created thee, O Jacob, and he that formed thee, O Israel, fear not. For I have redeemed thee, I have called thee by thy name, thou art mine. When thou passest through the waters, I will be with thee, and through the rivers, they shall not overflow thee. When thou walkest through the fire, thou shalt not be burned. Talked about the Hebrew children. Neither shall the flame kindle upon thee. Did he not do it? Yes, he did. For I am Yahawah, thy power, the Holy One of Israel, thy Savior. I gave Egypt for thy ransom, Ethiopia and Sheba for thee. Since thou wast precious in my sight, thou hast been honorable, and I have loved thee. Therefore will I give men for thee, and people for thy life. Fear not, for I am with thee. I will bring thy seed from the east and gather thee from the west. I will say to the north, give up, and to the south, keep not back. Bring my sons from far and my daughters from the ends of the earth. Even every one that is called by my name, for I have created him for my glory. I have formed him, yea, I have made him. Okay, the Most High is telling you, Israel is his witness, okay? He wants us to praise, worship, and pray to him, not to religion and religious creation. 8, bring forth the blind people that have eyes, and the deaf that have ears. Let all the nations be gathered together. Now, when he's talking about the nations, he's talking about gathering the nations where we're all scattered. Don't get it twisted into some universalism. That's not what he's talking about, okay? And let the people be assembled who among them can declare this and show us former things. Let them bring forth their witnesses that they may be justified, or let them hear and say, it is true. Ye are my witnesses, saith Yahweh, and my servant whom I have chosen, that ye may know that and believe me and understand that I am he. Before me there was no power formed, neither shall there be after me. Even I am Yahweh. Besides me there is no Savior. I have declared and have saved and have shown when there was no strange God among you. Therefore ye are my witnesses, saith Yahweh, that I am power. I am the power. I am Yahweh. I am God. Yea, before the day was, I am he, and there is none that can deliver out of my hand. I will work, and who shall let it? Question. See, Babylon's gonna be destroyed. He's coming this way. And if you don't pick up on the clues, good luck, you're going to be with it, because you ain't going to get no luck. 14, thus saith Yahweh, your Redeemer, the Holy One of Israel. Of the world? No. Of Israel. Of people who chose Jesus? No. Israel. For your sake I have sent to Babylon and have brought down all their nobles and the Chaldeans, whose cry is in the ships. I am Yahweh, your Holy One, the Creator of Israel, your King. Thus saith Yahweh, which maketh a way in the sea and a path in the mighty waters, which bringeth forth the chariot and the horse and the army and the power. They shall lie down together, they shall not rise. They are extinct, they are quenched as tow. 18, remember ye not the former things, neither consider the things of old. Behold, I will do a new thing now. It shall spring forth, and shall ye not know it? I will even make a way in the wilderness. Call Bahasham Yahawashi. Take me to the wilderness, Father. In the wilderness and the rivers in the desert. The beasts of the field shall honor me, and the dragons and owls, because I gave waters in the wilderness and rivers in the desert, and give drink to my people. Okay? Shalaki. To my people, as the Father said, for thy life, fear not. Right? Where am I at? Okay. Shalaki. Sorry about that. Yeah. Thou hast, and it says here, but thou hast not called upon me, O Jacob, for my people, my chosen. This people have I formed for myself. They shall show forth my praise. Right? Of course, he's talking about our shortcomings of Israel, but that's okay. We're going to get through it. But thou hast not called upon me, O Jacob, but thou hast been weary of me, O Israel. See, that's what I said. He's saying we have not called upon him because we're practicing religious worship of his creation. And this is how you're not calling upon him. Okay? 23, thou hast not brought me the small cattle of thy burnt offerings, neither hast thou honored me with thy sacrifices. I have not caused thee to serve with an offering, nor wearied thee with incense. Thou hast brought me no sweet cane with money, neither hast thou filled me with the fat of thy sacrifices, but thou hast made me to serve with thy sins. Thou hast wearied me with thine iniquities. I am he that blotteth out thy transgressions for mine own sake, and will not remember thy sins. Put me in remembrance. Let us plead together. Declare thou that thou mayest be justified. Thy first father hath sinned, and thy teachers have transgressed against me. Therefore I have profaned the princes of the sanctuary, and have given Jacob to the curse and Israel to reproaches. The Father is saying, you have to put me coming out of your mouth first, in between, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, all the way down through everything. I'm doing it all sides of everything. He's not. He needs to understand, Shlaki. He needs us to understand. He needs us to understand what it means to praise and worship him. One of my favorite, I go to Psalms 104. The Lord's care over all his work that people tend to praise. Bless Yahawah, O my soul, O Yahawah, my power. Thou art very great. Thou art clothed with honor and majesty, who coverest thyself with light as with the garment, who stretchest out the heavens like a curtain, who layeth the beams of his chambers in the waters, who maketh the clouds his chariot, who walketh upon the wings of the wind, who maketh his angels spirits and his ministers a flaming fire, who laid the foundations of the earth that it should not be removed forever. Thou coverest it with the deep as with the garment, and the waters stood above the mountains. At thy rebuke they fled. At the voice of thy thunder they haste away. They go up by the mountains, they go down by the valleys unto the place which thou formed for them. Thou hast set a bound that they may not pass over. They turn not again to cover the earth. He sendeth the springs into the valleys which run among the hills. They give drink to every beast of the field. The wild asses quench their thirst. By them shall the fowls of the heavens have their habitation, which sing among the branches. He watereth the hills from his chambers. The earth is satisfied with the fruit of thy works. He causeth the grass to grow for the cattle, the herb for the service of man, and he may bring forth food out of the earth, and the wine that maketh glad the heart of man, and oil to make his face to shine, and the bread which strengtheneth man's heart. The trees of the Lord are full of sap, the cedars of Lebanon which he hath planted. We are those cedars of Lebanon, where the birds made their nests, and for the stock and fir tree and her house. The high hills are a refuge for the wild goats and for the rocks of the conies. He appointed the moon for seasons, and the sun knoweth his going down. Thou makest darkness, it is night, wherein all the beasts of the forest do creep forth. The young lions roar after the prey, and seek their meat from Yahawah. The sun ariseth, they gather themselves together and lay down in their dens. Man goeth forth unto his work and to his labor until evening. O Yahawah, how manifold are thy works. See, it's what I'm telling you. He's controlling it all. In wisdom hast thou made them all. The earth is full of thy riches. So is that great and wide sea, wherein are things creeping innumerable, both small and great beasts. There go the ships. There is the Leviathan, whom thou hast made to play therein. These wait all upon thee, that thou mayest give them their meat in due season. That thou givest them gather, thou openest thine hand that are filled with good. Thou hidest thy face, they are troubled, that takest away the breath. They die and return to their dust. Thou sendest forth thy spirit that are created, and thou renewest the face of the earth. The glory of Yahawah shall endure forever. Yahawah shall rejoice in his works. He looketh on the earth, and it trembleth. He toucheth the hills, and they smoke. I will sing unto Yahawah as long as I live. I will sing praise to my power while I have my being. My meditation of him shall be sweet. I will be glad in Yahawah. Let the sinners be consumed out of the earth, and let the wicked be no more. Bless thou Yahawah, O my soul. Praise ye Yahawah. Kohlo Yahawah, Bahasham Yahawashi, Bahasham Rekahudah, the water Yahawah, the water Yahawah, Bahasham Yahawashi, Shalaki Yahawah, for my sins as I cry. Barakatha Yahawah, for your mercy all the time. Kolo Yahawah, Bahasham Yahawashi. Kolo Yahawah, Bahasham Yahawashi.